Hi, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. Paulina here, talking about your life, your calling, your physical body. So we're swinging into Virgo very shortly, and I'd like to just share a few different insights that have come to me in the shower this morning. Yes, no dress today, actually naked. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's have a look at what you are. Well, it's sometimes really hard to define who you are. Like, you look at your mom, like your mom was this, and then you look at your dad, and your dad wanted this, and it's really hard sometimes because not everybody kind of flows with their story. Not many people can actually define who they are in some way in order to find a job or a career that actually suits them properly. And one thing that I wanted to share with you is an insight that I received in the shower this morning is that if you got an illusion, like blow it all away, because you can waste your whole life on an illusion of a job or some kind of a calling. And if you don't reach it in this life, you'll reach it in the next. And then you'll sit there with this illusion that eventually reaches disillusionment. And you look at it on paper, it looked great, but then you actually look at it in reality and you go, wow, I wanted to be this person all my life, or like for many lifetimes I actually wanted to reach this experience, and here I am. Ha ha ha. And that's what the world wants from you, just wants this kind of like, seriously, you guys think that? And people will come to you without a doubt when you reach that energy of like, oh my goodness, that's so ridiculous. And that's basically what a career is. We've come to think of a career as something that's very practical, that's very stoic, and that's very rooted in a certain way in this reality. And, things work out, and this is what you do, and you wear the suit, and you go, and you wear the dress. Or you go to this person, or you go to this collective to get these things sorted. But in actual fact, career is Capricorn. Career is ruled by the Joker in the pack, and that's what Capricorn is. So basically, when you are looking for a career and you're thinking too harshly and too hard, like that means that you are lining yourself up for a really rude awakening eventually. And what is a job? Well, job is sixth house. Work is sixth house, ruled by Virgo. And what's Virgo? Well, it's a very small field. It's a very weird energy, Virgo, which is like comprising things and putting things into sections and looking at things over and over again, because Virgo rules the digestive system as well, and the process, the conveyor belt of experience, the problem-solving experience, the problem-solving tasks. And that's your job. And basically, when you don't think about yourself as a human being, when you don't think about yourself as like me, I'm just me, then it's really hard to find fulfillment in the field that you're looking for. So when you are feeling like, I need to find this thing to do, look again. Because why? Because often we have this feeling like, I need to do this for the people, or I need to do this for humanity, or I need to do this for myself, or to make my dad proud, no matter why. And you may find a really good reason why. Like, if I don't do this, I don't matter. Or if I don't do this, my dad will be really disappointed. And then if I don't do this, then human beings won't experience my talent. And if I don't do this, maybe I will not be able to give back to the collective, whatever the reason. And the reasons can be really plenty with ego. There could be a lot of reasons that don't even get seen as ego. Like, I want to heal people. Like, I want to help people. I want to hold them like they're little children. Whatever you have is most likely a joke, and you will sort of receive it as the punchline at the end, because what you've got in your life, and this is basically what maybe neither of us have, but this is what we follow. We follow a dream. We follow a calling. Like, who's calling it out? Like, do you think the sun is calling out, like, say, Virgo, sun, you must heal everything, Libra, you must be the balance for anything and anyone. Like, is it not? Well, it's not, because it's meant to be an automatic process, like your digestive system. Your Virgo rules your digestive system. Does your gut need you constantly poke and prod at it and go, no, that doesn't need to go there, this needs to go here? Well, the more you relax, the more you digest better. Like, the more you alleviate your strain in the mind, the more you can process information, because Virgo also rules the brain, the intellect. So what do you do? Well, basically look at your chart. Look at your chart in all honesty. And this is like a really important aspect of this reading. I love this, I guess, energy output, is to really notice for myself as well who I am. When you have a look at your chart, you basically look first at your ascendant, your birth ascendant. And it may change depending on where you are in the world, but your birth ascendant is basically who you are to be here, like how you are. Well, mine is in Scorpio on a degree that basically says, it's time, everyone. It's time to change. Shift this and this and that. This is the way that it should be. Every degree is a little bit different from the next. And this is the way that my ascendant has formed. And before my ascendant, I've got, say, Pluto and Mercury and Ketu in a combined cluster. So what do I have? I've got the silent mind. I've got the silent power. Dominance over other people that I don't like to admit, and also like silent Ketu, like silent, just silence. So the more I do in silence and productivity of inner worlds, the more I meditate and the more I go into many different dimensions by myself, the more I can do the thing. So have a look at the silence in your 12th house. What is very close to your ascendant in your 12th house? And tell me what it is. You can even write it down if you want. Maybe I'll answer it next time. I have a look. And then maybe see what that is. Like, for example, you got a silent moon. You know, I'm here, I'm shining for everything, for everything, but nobody can see me, nobody can hear me. And that's fine. Say I've got a Ketu and, Pluto, Mercury combustion, in Scorpio in the 12th house right before my ascendant. Well, that means that I'm not meant to be seen. And I'm somebody who's not meant to be out. And that is something that, for example, for me is really hard to imagine because I'm somebody who's always tried to be out. Because I've got my midheaven, close to Leo, and Sarah's up there and everything like that. And my mum was a very show pony type of person. And then you just got to wonder, who am I like to shine? And this may sound really weird for you. Sometimes, I had recently a customer who wanted to be a rock star, who was clearly a really awesome producer of thought and producer of difference in the workplace of, say, like a bank or like a company. He was a salesman. He was born to sell. But at the same time, he was like, I want to be a rock star. I want to be out there as like freedom itself. And that's really hard. So have a look, say, if you are somebody who's aiming for something too high, perhaps it was your parents' dream that was not realized for a reason. And then why? And just go say, for example, I really want to heal people, I want to be a medic, but actually inside you're an actress. And that happens as well. That happened a lot. I've had a lot of people saying, I want to put in the hard yards and I want to do this amazing thing, but at the same time, they were not meant to be seen. And then for yourself, kind of see... how are you? How are you in your first house? You yourself. Say, for example, I got Saturn and Moon conjunct. So I'm meant to make dreams a reality eventually. And by now, hopefully, I've helped some of you create that for yourself. But I'm meant to be something that is completely nonsensical and at the same time makes more sense than anything else. And that means that, say, for my chart, if I wanted to be an actress or any kind of a singer or a provider of great shifts for people in a really obvious way, it would be really startling for me to see that it can be, but it can be only in a way where people don't really notice who I am. But then if I want, say, people to see who I am, and I've got, say, for example, Sun in the 11th house, if I want people to see who I am, and that's for you too, where is your Sun? Who are you? So say you got Sun and Virgo in a 12th house. So you got say, Moon and Mercury combined. Whatever you've got, have a look at what you've got and the different star systems that you've got in your chart. And then just see who are you? I am what? Say, for example, I got Libra Sun in the 11th house. So I am a social... it's like social dilution, but then social creation. For example, this is the collective mind, and I'm kind of trying to get the median of it, the balance. I'm trying to get the balance because 11th house is, Aquarius, a social mind, and I'm sort of trying to get the median out of all of the different people and all the different places and all the different ways to be. So I'm trying to be something that is heard, by being out. But that means that I get diluted. And if I don't go many ways different and try to be these different people at different times, then I can actually be heard. It's a really funny thing. So have a look at your chart. So maybe for you, for example, you've got a Virgo ascendant, you've got Sun in the 3rd house, and maybe Moon in the 7th, and you're trying to think, hi guys, hi. Hello, and then nothing happens. And then how are you? Well, basically you just have to look at why your Sun is there. You mean to speak, but then you don't get heard. Why? Well, because your Moon is in the 7th house. Perhaps you're not meant to be heard by other people as much as you think you are. And how are you? Well, that means a lot, because your moon in the 7th house basically controls how you're seen by other people. Are you feeling fine? Well, you feel fine to us. If you don't feel fine and you want to be heard, it's no good, because Virgo doesn't know, just keeps on going, keeps on evolving, keeps on changing without really need to sometimes. And this is how I've sort of come to this video, because Virgo is about to shift massively in a big way in this month to come of September. Now I'm just like looking at my chart and thinking, how come I'm not feeling like my career is really relevant anymore as just a thing? Well, it's because, like, for example, I got career house in the 10th, career house, 10th house, and I got Virgo, and I got, say, my Jupiter, your Jupiter, everyone's Jupiter going through my Venus at the moment. And I'm just like, hang on. Have you seen how pretty I can be? Well, why can I not be pretty all the time? Why do I have to be pretty sometimes? It's because my career says, time to digest things for other people, time to put things together for other people. And then who am I? Well, I'm fucking like a digestive system for others to really understand and to really think things through, and that's really hard for me to do. And this video is very timely for me at the moment, because as we're going through Virgos, we're shifting, we're like, what are we freaking doing here? What are we doing? And my mind is saying to me that my life is not really important, because Virgo is shifting through a certain stage of its degrees where it's sort of giving itself away in order to then realize that other people need to be given away instead of itself, because Virgo eventually becomes Libra, and that means letting go of everything completely. And then I'm thinking, how are you? How are you people? And how are you doesn't really matter, because how am I? That's the most important question that we can ask as we are shifting out of Leo into Virgo. So who am I? Who am I? To me, fucking not to anyone else, just to me, and how am I? And who was I as a child? Because that's where we're coming back to. We're coming back to the child, because we can't really find who we are this time around in the society until we can be like, oh wow, look at little Polina, what does she like to do? Well, she liked to freaking draw, and she didn't really care about people looking at her. That was her mum. And she really didn't give a shit about people giving her compliments, because she didn't like it, because she didn't think that people needed to, because people are great, they should just concentrate on their own thing. And she didn't like it that people looked at the child in her and thought that the child was the greatest thing in the world, when she wasn't. She was just freaking being. And that was really annoying. And then later on in life, everybody's got that wound. You get a lot of attention as a child, and then you grow up and nobody really wants you. You're not cute anymore. You're not sweet anymore. So we're just going to find the younger version of you and worship that. And that's something that career is really hard to really understand. Because, for many people, say for Polina, when she was a little child, people don't think that a career is something that a child can have, but a career, Capricorn, growth and development, that is what we're given from get-go. So career is kind of just like a birthright. And then eventually, of course, we get the papers, and we get the schooling, and we get the place in society, and I got a career. You had a career ever since you were born, so have a look at your career when you were a child. Happy days, where were you? You used to freaking sit there and fucking pick your nose and then put it on the walls. What'd you do? Why did you do that for? And you'll see why and how. And say, for example, for some of us, our careers were really freaking different. Say my career was to see little tiny parts of reality and to look at them and say, it's okay, you'll be fine. So I was basically prayer. I was a prayer for other people. I was trying to pray for my mom and for my dad, because they couldn't get their shit together ever. What did you do? I used to pray for my parents. I used to ponder around trying to evoke new frequencies to come through. I was pulling through different souls from different dimensions. So I was working with spirit, very, very small, but it didn't look like it because I was just playing with dolls, you know what I mean? And then what else did I do? Say, for example, I used to say different things in different languages because it felt fine. And I used to just do really weird stuff. I used to draw all the time, but it wasn't really the drawing that was important. It was the symbol in the drawing that was important. So I was just creating symbols all the time. And then for you people, say, where are you, what are you, and how are you doing? in your current situation. Can you remember what kind of inclinations you had as a child? Like age 3, what did you do? Well, I don't remember. Well, ask your mum. What did I do when I was a kid? Well, you were a very strange child. You used to just sit there alone for ages and talk to your imaginary friend. Well, maybe they weren't so imaginary. Maybe that was your mum in your past life. Maybe you were trying to mend something with her in a past life so she wouldn't be such a bitch this time around. You know, it could have been so many different things. And then you are here and you're trying to be a broker, you're trying to be a banker, you're trying to be a broadcaster, you're trying to be a worship idol, you're just trying to be yourself, you're trying to make ends meet, you're trying to make enough money to survive, like whatever you're doing. And then you kind of listen back to the way that you were in your past lives, you know, in your past when you were just a little child and you had no one to please, like but yourself. Maybe you wanted to do something in your spare time, you made airplanes. Or you wanted to do something in your spare time. If you ever had spare time as a child, maybe you just sat there and fucking, you know, did really weird stuff. Like picked your toes or just did really, really crazy stuff. And then you just wonder, why am I here? Well, just look at what you used to do. Look at what you used to dream as a kid. Like, for example, for me, I've had a fear that this could have come true because I wished it, but it wasn't. I was just trying to deter myself through my behavior. Like I used to stand in the mirror, right? Stand in front of the mirror as a child, and I used to just like touch myself, like, you know, poses in music videos, and I used to be like, I want to be the girl in the music video. And then it's just like a weird thing. Like I used to watch music videos and you know, the backup dancers, you know, in the music video for the rock stars, and I was like, why would I need to do that? And it was because then later on I became a stripper when I grew up, and that was like a big part of my experience, just to be this like thing. And I didn't know why, or I think because it's what my mom wanted for me eventually. She just wanted me to be something that wasn't really real. And then here I am talking to you naked, and it's been a really fun experience. Just to be this without having to be this. And then what's the step of that evolution? Just not being this at all, not being that, just being silent. And just being. Like, what are you? Who? Why? And when? And how? And it's funny. Because even if you think that you want to be there somehow, even if you think you want to be a singer or an actor or a great big star, without your realization of your childhood, you will never go very far. If you don't want to be in Virgo anymore, well, have a look at why Leo is opening that door. Have a look at what you've come to be through space and time, and perhaps your life won't be a funny crime. If you wanted to be singer in the past, then perhaps this time is time to dance. But if you never wanted to be what you are becoming, then perhaps you are looking for an outcome that's not stunning. Do you want to be dissatisfied in what you do? Well, that's alright, because in that you are becoming guru, as somebody who's done a lot of things for other people. In a way, Virgo makes it very simple. As Jupiter's been through Virgo many times, this time around, it doesn't compromise. The way that we are placed within the stars shows us that we've done too much by far, and through doing, interacting, we are creating a world, or created a world, that is made for fracturing. And if we fracture way too much too many times, there is no way in us to make a compromise. And a compromise is really quite the same as always it has been. Do you want to be you, or just chase another person's dream? And that is how we've come, and this is how we be, because Virgo brings the same object into view for you and for me, and the object of that view is just yourself inside. How are you, my dear friend, and how do you like to subside? Do you want to be small and meek and unheard, or do you want to be somebody who's talked about? Who's preferred? Which one are you, that or the other? Look at how you've been in your life, in your childhood, and how was your mother? And how do you feel inside you and your moon? Do you feel emotionally well, or do you feel like you're in gloom? Well, we're in Virgo now, my friend, and here you are, because this transit can really take you very far if you just remember how you've been in days of old, and remember that everything that you've done has been pure gold, without hesitation. Just take that pen and write. And maybe in a vortex of creation, you will find what's right and understand that for you perhaps things have not been easy, but in a very strange way, this life is going to be very breezy if you just commence on what you used to do forever. And that is something that inside of you has always been together. And maybe in your world you think it's very private, but in a private way, it is meant to be silent and one time bursted out as something that you are. And in that very burst, you'll realize that you've gone far, but in that farther road that you have chosen, perhaps there is something in you that is not still rosy, and that is something is just the unnurtured ego that wants to say to the world, hey, hello, I can do anything and do it well. But at the same time, there is an unfathomable well, a well of premonitions, a well of dissatisfaction, and that is within you and me as a human imperfection. So have a look inside and tell me what you think, and I hope that this broadcast has been fun. And it will bring some kind of realization and some kind of reformation, and eventually lead you to a path of satisfaction. Thank you.